What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of PNTS Network and Cloud Dosage back again with an illustrious panel for a brand new SSC podcast. So now let me do this. Let me make sure that I got everything together. I've unmuted them because we were having very entertaining conversation. We almost just didn't do the podcast. We almost just said, screw it. This is a sad subject. We don't want to get into this. Goodbye. But we're going to go along with the show anyway. So shout out to everybody. So first, let me introduce the illustrious panel that we have for SSC Podcast episode 102. Let's start off with our good brother who hooked me up with this funky fresh superfly avatar, Lo-Fi Monk. Lo-Fi, how you doing today, good brother?
Man, I'm doing great. Man. I'm just glad to be here.
Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, long time no hear. We haven't heard you on SSC Podcast since your fantastic job of interviewing the most talkative trio in all of gaming history, me, Clive, and John.
Right, it's been a while.
It has been a while. I warned you in advance. I said, we can talk, so make sure that you're ready. He said, okay. But no, great job, brother. I appreciate it. Next up, we got my good brother who's coming back on. He's now specializing in Amazon Luna, right? And he's going to be doing some other stuff too. Our good brother, StadiaDosageInc. Suna, how are you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just happy to be back on the show. Always fun to be here. So, yep.
Awesome, man. Great to have you. And last but certainly not least, now this guy said, MM2K, you're never on time. You always mix up the Stadia wiki. I just had enough of you. I'm done. I'm out of here. I said, please don't leave. And I offered him, I forgot his favorite food. I knew what it was, damn it. I messed up my own monologue. Let me just introduce him. It's Ninja Guy X. Ninja Guy X, how you doing today, good brother? Glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I always wanted to come back once in a while and say hi, but it never happened, sadly. But I'm happy that today I can be here. I'm sad that Peter can't make it today because he's awesome to talk to. But
I know. His
maybe
bosses
next time.
suck. His bosses suck, yeah, but we're gonna work on something for tomorrow or something like that. So we'll definitely gonna get Peter on there. I want to shout out everybody that's in the chat. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you thought that we were going away. I know a lot of people said, oh man, there's Stadia Dosage. I guess they're done. Wrong. So, we're back in effect. So just let everybody know that we're live. We're going to have a great conversation today. Give this panel and give everybody an opportunity to express how they feel about this closure and try to help bring some clarity to folks and help fellow gamers know what the best next steps are, depending upon their user case. So that's what we're getting into today. But first, let me shout out the chat. We got Geek to Sneak in the house. Hey, yo, hey, Geek. Man, that GFN 3080 tier. I didn't know it was that crisp once they hit that AI in there, man. Woo, my gosh. Yes. What's up, everybody? It's Stefan Sabolo. Good to see you, Stefan. Good to see you, my good friend. We got Simply Born Gaming SPG. I love how you kept the acronym. Brother, you inspired me. While I was sick, and for those of y'all, again, I did have COVID. Thank you so much for your support and your understanding and your patience. So while I'm sitting there hacking away my lungs with COVID, I said, God dang it, we got to rename this and rename that. And then I saw SPG. And he simply was just very creative and keeping the same acronyms, but coming up with a crazy name. I love it. So you inspired me, SPG, to make cloud, except for cloud dosage, but SSC is going to keep the same acronyms. We're still figuring that out. SLS is now streaming live session instead of Stadia live session. So we're going to figure this out, but it's all thanks to SPG. Here for my doses, David Wilson. We got ER Gaming in the house. We got the Postmaster, Dusty Aran. He says, let's get a Spirit of Stadia hashtag started. Yo, Chariot Man Gaming in the house. Good to see y'all. And again, this guy on the panel, Lo-Fi Monk. He's out here messing with the panel. The people out in the chat. All right, cool. Cool beans. All right, so just a couple of announcements super quick, and then we're going to get right to it because you're here for the panel. Don't forget, guys, that I am now branching off and doing all gaming. I'm not only doing gaming for the Cloud Dosage streams, but MM2K videos is coming back, and we actually are going to have a show. We're going to have two shows. I guess I can spoil the one show. There's going to be a Bleach spoiler cast. Yes, So fans of anime and fans of Bleach, we're going to be doing a spoiler cast. I guess every 2 episodes. I'm not going to announce who the co-host is, but you'll be very excited once you find who the co-host is. So that's show number 1 that's coming in MM2K videos. Show number 2 is another show specific to a particular console. It's console related to a particular console. There's a reason for that. We'll get into that. And then there's going to be another great host that's going to be doing that show with me. So we got a lot of stuff coming, which this bleeds into my second announcement. I know the PNTS Network website is down. Just be patient. It's going to come back up. And when it comes back up, it's going to be better than ever. So we're in the talks with different people to help make it better than ever. But we know that the site is down. Don't worry, it's going to come back up. We're dealing with a multitude of things, some shady hosts, web hosts, and some other things. But we're going to have it straight soon. And when it comes back, it's going to be better than ever. And lastly, don't forget. You know what? Let me show you something. Don't forget to go to Cloud Dosage. Yes, the newly rebranded CloudDosage.com. over at CloudDosage.com. Go there and visit us and check out all the fly stuff that we have to offer you in regards to cloud gaming. I've been talking to a lot of different platforms, FYI. We got some great stuff coming along the way. So we got too much content to handle. It's we missed Stadia. We're going to talk about that, but we got so much content coming in regards to cloud gaming. It's ridiculous. We don't know what to do with ourselves. So definitely stay tuned to CloudDosage.com, your best place to get everything cloud related. All right. With that said, I'm done. Let's go through the illustrious panel. Ninja Guy X, we're going to start with you. Good brother. What have you been playing this past week?
Well, my friend, I've been streaming some Dark Wood. It's a game that was on Stadia.
Yeah.
And but just in case I wasn't going to finish it before the closure, I bought it on GOG and I'm playing it on PC. So so far I'm having fun. I'm still undecided if I like the game or not, but I want to give it some more more of a chance to make sure that it's not the game for me. But we'll see from there. Other than that, I'm pretty much like in between games right now. I don't have like any specific game that I'm focusing on, but I've been playing a little bit of Persona 3 yesterday because I love JRPGs.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but other than that, that's pretty much it on my end. It's only that every week I'm going to do some Outcasters every Wednesday. So anybody who wants to play some multiplayer Outcasters, I'll be around. And yeah, that's pretty much it on my end.
Awesome. Next, we'll go to Suna. Suna, what have you been doing this past week in gaming?
Oh man, I've been playing some GFN. I've been on Battlefield 1 with the 3080 tier and Battlefield 1. Oh my goodness, I forgot how great that game is. That's definitely one of the better games from EA. And then also I've been playing The Medium on Amazon Luna, and I actually just finished it.
Oh, wow.
That game is amazing.
Yeah.
That game is something right there. So that's about it. I just been chilling, playing some games.
Cool. I gotta get into The Medium. Yeah, I forget about some of those games like that. And Kingdom. I forgot Kingdom something that's on that
what is it? Kingdom
Deliverance? Yeah.
Kingdom of Deliverance, yes. Little known fact, I actually got an opportunity to sit on a panel where the developer, or one of the developers of that game, Rick, got to sit before the game even came out. This was years ago. So shout out to Rick, man. And that's a game that we supported early, and I'm glad to see that it had its success that it did, because I know that's one thing that they're a small studio, and one thing that was on their mind. So yeah, definitely if you got Amazon Luna, if it's in your area, definitely try it out. All right, last but certainly not least, our good friend Lo-Fi Bonk. Lo-Fi, what you been playing this week, man?
Bro, I'm a little bit different than these guys. I'm gonna tell you. I still got this big library of games, man. I'm trying to get through some Far Cry 6, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, and that and there's games that I haven't even opened. I haven't even opened them. Bought them, haven't opened them. So I'm trying to get through those while I'm taking my time. I'm waiting on those Black Friday deals. And I got to be honest, it's a little overwhelming to look at the entire landscape and try to pick, like, oh, let me make a move over here. I'm trying to stay flexible and just, I want to try a little of this, a little of that, you know?
I get it. I have a crate in the day before Stadia closed down, or maybe 2 days, I bought Rage Deluxe Edition, and I was gonna go crazy on that, and then like, oh shit, and I still can play it. You know, don't get me wrong, I can still play it. You know what I'm saying? The games that concern me, and we'll get into that, are the Ubisoft games, because they're talking about detaching Ubisoft Plus from the platform, and that's how I have all my Ubisoft games. You know what I mean? The Ubisoft Plus. But yeah, there's still a lot of games. I mean, I see a lot of people still playing their Stadia games and trying to catch up on their achievements.
I mean, why not? It's there.
Exactly, it's there. It's there, and you're getting Stadia Pro for free, I believe, for the duration of the platform. So,
oh yeah,
why not? It's still there. Like I'm still playing Madden on there. You know what I mean? Because there's nowhere else to play Madden on the cloud. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it'll come.
Definitely. With that said, all right, y'all. So let's get into these topics, man. And again, as a reminder to everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications, please. You know what I'm saying? Because it helps the algorithm. And we always want that algorithm to help out, because we got great content creators that do stuff on the platform like Lo-Fi, like Squid and others. And we're going to have a whole lot more. So definitely help that algorithm out, so these guys and their content get the attention that it deserves. All right. With that said, let's get into these topics, man. We got to pull the scab right off. Let's start off with Stadia's closing. All right, my friends, let's talk about it. So because Suna, you gasped first. I'm gonna get you first, and then whoever wants to take it after you. What was your first reaction? Like, where were you at? Let's go back to that painful period in time. Ooh. Where were you at? What were your thoughts when you first heard that Stadia was closing down?
So I was working on a project that me and Lo-Fi were actually doing for the Stadia community. Oh my gosh.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and like, I mean, hey, maybe we could still do this thing, but
I think we can, man. But yeah. Anyway.
So I was working on that, and then all of a sudden I go on Twitter and I see Clive, and I see a picture of the store, and I was like, bro, are you serious? I thought this was a joke. So I had to go
Everybody.
Just find the official word on it. And my first reaction, man, I was so heartbroken that I just started laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're sad about something, either you gonna cry or you gonna laugh. So I just started laughing, and I was like, man, I just could not believe it, man. The first thing I did was cancel my subscription, and I was like, oh my god, dude. I was just so I was pretty upset about it. So that was my reaction.
That's crazy. Yeah. Ninja Guy, what were you doing? Like, we gotta pull the scab off, man. If we gotta hug each other and cry through this process, we'll do it. But where were you at? What did you think? All that stuff when you heard the announcement.
First of all, I gasped first, but I was on mute, so there.
Smart man.
Yeah. No, I was just on my couch. You know, it was lunchtime, and I don't know what I was doing, but I was busy with something, and I saw a pop-up on my phone, and John was asking someone else in a group chat. He was like, "Oh man, is that true?" And was like, "What is he talking about?" So I opened it up and I saw that, and the other person said, "Yeah, that's true." And they showed the blog and everything. I was like, "What?" And for a while, for the whole weekend, actually. My mind was elsewhere. I had something really important to attend, and I just couldn't think about it. So it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't really get in my mind until Monday. I was sitting down, I was working, and I had some big thoughts about it, and it was probably like the most depressing day of my life, just because it's just like getting it, sink it down to me. So yeah, that's pretty much my story about it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Lo-fi. Like I said, man, we'll send support animals, whatever we need to do, brother. But we gotta pull the scab off. Where were you at? What were you thinking? All that good stuff or bad stuff, really?
Like, I work from home, so I'm normally home. Yeah. And I got a lot of free time. It's real flexible for me. So my mom, I was talking to Suna. Me and Suna were working on that project together.
Yeah.
And my mom had hit me up, and she was in the area, and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop by. I want to take you out to brunch." And I'm like, "All right." So I figured she's got something she wants to talk to me about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave the house. We weren't gone, but like maybe an hour, maybe a little longer. I don't know. But I'm hanging out with her, and my phone's blowing up, and I'm not trying to look at my phone. I'm trying to focus on mine and her conversation. And finally, it just kept going crazy, and I'm like, I'm gonna look. I gotta look. I gotta see what's going on. It might be somebody hit me up, an emergency. Mm-hmm. So I check my phone, and I see all this Stadia shutting down stuff, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, oh, here we go again. Stadia's dead. Okay. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I just put my phone in my pocket, carried on about my business. I get home, and I'm like, I just sat straight down. I didn't touch anything. I just came straight in the door, sat down, opened up my computer, got in a party chat with some friends, a couple friends of mine, and I'm like, so what's going on? And they're like, did you hear? And I'm like, I mean, I heard Stadia's dead, but we've heard that a million times. And they were like, go look at the store. I'm like, okay. So here's like, I like to cast my computers onto my TVs in my living rooms, right? Yeah. So I'm like, dude, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. I'm putting it on the TV. So I turn on my TV. TV starts flickering. I'm like, what? So my TV went out on me. I'm like, oh wow, man.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'm like, Stadia's dead. TV's dead.
Hey, dude.
That's unlucky. Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I end up sitting in a party chat that just carries on for days. Like I leave the party chat, come back into the next. People are still in there, and it's just. I know I was going through emotions, but I wasn't really like letting it. I wasn't really like feeling it. I was more trying to be there for my friends and hear what they had to say. And
yep.
It took a while for it to hit, and I got pretty stressed out about it, to be honest, because there was a lot of drama going on. And as far as my initial reaction, I would say denial. Like, yeah, right. This isn't real, but I lived through the OnLive closure, and it wasn't like news I couldn't take. I was like, things happen.
Yeah.
Sad.
Man.
Ooh, man.
I was honestly shocked because like there were so many signs from the Stadia team, I guess, apparently, I mean, hold up. Like I wasn't like a super nerd of Google, so I didn't understand how short of a attention span that they had. So like Stadia doing all this stuff, I didn't realize that in the grand scheme of things, if Google really wanted to, they can just be like, okay, we're done. And that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, I don't know. It's to me, like, it really caught me off guard because it was like they were about to expand. We were getting games for next
I feel like
year.
It caught them off guard. The
Stadia caught them off guard too.
Look at them new Chromebooks. I think they were caught a little off guard,
man. Oh my goodness. And like there were just so many things coming out, like features. And speaking of the Chromebooks, if they would have came out with like 120 frames too, I really hope we don't hear that because
did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that tweet from Luna?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The bird tweet.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah, they ain't Luna ain't got no chill. They're white. They're licking the blood off the blade, man. They was not playing, man. Wow.
Savage.
Wow.
I had to give him props, man. I had to give him props.
Like, whoa. Like, whoa. like everybody else was like handling with kid gloves, GFN. They got surveys. Hey, Stadia guys, like, how's the experience? You know, Major Nelson's like, oh, phooey, I hate to see competition go. Not Amazon. They was they're licking the blade. Yeah, licking the blood off the blade.
Dude, I was just like, really? I was like, you're right. They reminded me of Drago on Rocky. If he dies, he dies. I was like, golly. but not now. Yeah, no crazy stuff. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Nah, man, but it's just like it's like Google really had this opportunity to compete against the Steam Deck and everything else. Mm-hmm. It's just like, let's just shoot ourselves in the foot real quick.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
Bro, like they were on lap 3. Well, coming around to lap 3, and they just gave up. Like, this
UI
platform,
game announcements, bro.
Yeah.
Like Stadia.
Shout out to Wired P though, man. Wired P, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dude, I watched, and even after they did the little tweet where they were like, we're going to see if we can still bring y'all Martha's Dead somehow, which I don't know how that's going to happen. But even in their podcast, it was days later after that thing, and they were still talking about how they want to try and bring Martha's Dead somehow. Or somehow hook the Stadia community up with Martha's Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not the longest game in the world, and you know if they can sneak it in there and just give it to so that I mean that's just Wired P, man. They're wired differently, no pun intended. They're really
just
cool
more
about the community. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to support them even after Stadia closure. They have so many good games and just really cool people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was already a fan, and then when they started doing that, I was like, dude, like, yeah. I love what they do. I love their style, their art. I just like how they handle themselves. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, well, we're gonna get into later in the podcast about Google and their quote unquote motivations. As much as we can speak to it. Again, I don't want to spill the whole beans. Time will tell everything that's happening. It's not as black and white as many, we know that there were people that were salivating. I knew it when SG&E closed down. This was their plan all along. Nah,
oh my God.
It wasn't that
all
simple.
The I told you so's.
Yeah, all the I told you so. Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of, and I know a lot of people felt bad about that. Me, like I said, I came from Fight Club. It reminded me of when, shout out to Next Gen 720. That's my mentor, Broadband Bully. Shout out to them. And he said to the world, because he had inside information, he said, look, Crackdown 3 is going to be bad for Microsoft. It's really going to be bad. And he didn't say why it was that way. He just said, but I know something. It's going to be bad. And the whole world went after him. What? You liar. And then Jazz Gordon of Windows Central, you either like him or love him. He called Next Gen an idiot. He said, oh, that idiot. I just played Crackdown a few days ago and it was fine. It was perfect. Lo and behold, Crackdown 3 came out and even Jazz had to give it a low score. And Next Gen said, see, I ain't got a lot over video games. Another example is a guy by the name of John Petty Institute. He's a world-renowned analyst, mainly over chips, microchips and stuff like that in Samsung products. We got him on the show one day. And when nobody else could give numbers on how many consoles Xbox sold, he was able to create a formula to show us how many consoles they sold last gen because he had inside information on the number of chips that we had or that they've had processed. Oh, the whole world went crazy. We had analysts. Shout out to Z Huge. I love Z Huge, but we had Z Huge going on NeoGAF or whatever that was and saying that information was bogus. Lo and behold, information came out several months later. And again, Next Gen sat up there and was like, I ain't got to lie about video games. So I moniker my mentor and I tell you, this panel does not have to lie about video games. Stadia is dead. There's no bringing it back. It's dead. There's nothing to try to get bargaining chips on. It's dead. But just like those who want to know the history of why OnLive died, and there's a great article by The Verge on that, we want to keep people informed. And I'm here to tell you that there were recent events, culmination of recent events, and Clive touched on these specifically in his show when it closed down, but there were recent events that occurred on why it shut down. I'm not justifying it. I still think it was a bad decision. I've talked about it numerous times, but it had nothing to do with SG&E. All right, so we'll just put it like that. That being
I got a question for you, man.
Go ahead. All right, absolutely.
And it's kind of a touchy subject. But how do you feel about the other content creators that are out there that are saying things like, just like basically we ain't got no room to jump to these other platforms and make content on them and speak on them and things like that?
What?
You haven't heard this? Like people try to say that the Stadia people come into place that, now they're gonna, like just basically just saying that how good is our word type thing, what I mean?
Here's the problem with that. The only people that through the beginning and the end of this were spot on about everything were the people that didn't attack the tech or attack the platform, but just simply said, I am fearful of Google's attention span. And there are some people like that were out there that they said, hey, look, I'm not going against the platform. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it couldn't be something awesome. I just know Google and Google's attention span, if it doesn't blow up, they get very, very ADD-ish, and that's why I'm concerned about this platform. Those people are the only people that you can sit there and say, okay, you guys kind of had the most accurate pulse on all of this. But everybody else didn't have a clue. Even people that are saying, yeah, I know Google products always get diminished or whatever. At some point in time, even they believed that Stadia was going to be around, and they started arguing Google should kill Stadia. You know what I'm saying? Like, Google Stadia is going to die, so just wait it out. It's like, no, they should kill him because they wanted the negative things that they were saying to come to fruition. So the overwhelming majority of us on this, just because you sat there and guessed an outcome of the platform doesn't make you a genius. It doesn't make you smart. It doesn't give you any credibility because you never understood why it was going to happen. The only people that understood why it would possibly happen are, again, the people that just kept their finger on the pulse of Google's attention span. So I don't lay precedent to anybody else that sits there and says we don't have any credence or whatever. I've been creating content a lot longer. Me personally, I've been creating content a lot longer than Stadia.
Well, there's also something to be said for people that follow their heart.
Yeah, exactly. We believed in a platform. Look, that's like telling people, those that believed in Sega Dreamcast, don't ever pick up a joystick again. It's stupid. Platforms die. Platforms get killed, even when it may not be the best decision. I love the GameCube. The GameCube was my favorite out of the PlayStation 2 and the OG Xbox. That got killed. So it happens. It can be a volatile situation, and that's the way things are. Doesn't make anybody less credible.
Yeah. There is a other side to it, right? You got those content creators saying that, and then there's another side to it where you got and shout out to Doc Dark on this one. But there's man, he had a video out, and there's other creators that are saying this, but he put out a video talking about it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to play these other, and do the. Yeah. The only thing that gets me about that, and it's not him or anybody saying that, it's just I feel there's my side to that is that it's not a change for me. It's not me changing my mind. It's I have no other option. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. But then it also goes into the other thing. Dark did another video. Shout out to Doc, man. But he put out a video talking about games are not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just having the games is not enough. You got to have more than that. And
I agree.
I really, if you're in the Stadia community, I think you can feel that, because there was something about Stadia, even when we all know we weren't getting the games like everybody else. We wanted them for sure. But there was something about the way they gave us the games that kept us here, and the way that we got to interact with each other that kept us here. And the way you get to interact with social media through playing these games and creating content and creating whatever you do. Gaming's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like moving to these other platforms, I'm going to have a good experience. I'm going to have a good time. It's games. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to have times where I'm like, why isn't this feature here? Why is it so hard to do this? Why do I have to use two different pieces of hardware to accomplish one job? Like things like that. So I don't know. But there's all kinds of aspects out there, and that's just my thoughts on that.
I'm gonna let Suna and Ninja Guy X wrap up those thoughts, and then that's a perfect segue to my next question. But go Suna, you start, and then Ninja Guy X, you can close it out. But what are your thoughts on what Lo-Fi had put out there?
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree, and because like even right now, going to these other platforms like GFN, they have the 120 frames and they have the AI enhanced upscaling. I mean, like the graphics look great, but like now you got to come out of pocket more if you want to play a whole lot of games. And now I won't be able to play all these different games like that without Luna. So now I got to go on to Luna. And, I'm going to get a whole bunch of different games, but now Luna has missing features, and it just feels like a huge hole is like left open now. It just doesn't, it's just not going to feel the same for me for a while until a platform does everything that Stadia did. And then adding one more thing to that, our credibility, I don't believe it is shot at all, because like we were going based off of what the Stadia team had lined up for the platform, and we were following those facts, and we've never dealt with a Google product before. So like if we see something where
you also got to take into account, you hear Stadia's dead 1,000 times.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You get a little numb to it, and you're in your own world, and you're enjoying yourself,
Yeah. And then we hear stuff like, they're going to expand to Mexico from Google, like what, 3 months ago, and then all of a sudden 3 months later they just shut it down. It's like it really just I don't think either side of you thinking Stadia was going to die or not, I don't think your credibility can be shot, because there's valid arguments for it not dying as well. Like it was a lot of good signs. So
I've always said, none of us, I was very confident. There's no getting around it. I was very confident that because of the change in pace that the Stadia team was making, like when Dov Zimmerich took the reins pretty much from Phil Harrison and John Justice was gone, they said, look, here's the fact of the matter. We got a little bit lofty in our expectations. We thought we were going to supersede these projections. We're not. We're going to be a 1% business like everyone else. So let's look at everyone else that is not having a rocky time like us as far as getting games, and let's do what they're doing. And that was in the form of the low change porting. So they just became more grounded, more realistic to what the platform's reach was going to be. And it seemed like to me, even though we feel like that, we weren't getting the games that we were getting the first year, it feels like that their movements were less chaotic, because it was just so much chaos in 2019 and 2020. And they just said, let's be void of the chaos. Let's put our head down and let's find a way to make these games come easier. And they were about to do that. I'm not going to say what the methodology was, but they were about to flip that on its head. That even more tells you that this was a decision that was made more recently. But as far as people being
you
silly
gotta think
for like.
also. You gotta think also these people that were part of the Stadia team, they had their marching orders. They were still making deals. They were still talking to their
They were at
contacts. They were in the
Gamescom,
middle,
Tokyo
and in the middle of that,
Game
they
Show.
say nope.
Yep. Exactly.
So, I mean,
something happened, and you guys will find out. And I don't want to talk too much about it because it's going to make you even madder. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to make you angrier, and you'll really
way madder.
I mean, people are talking about selling their Pixel phones and throwing their Chromebooks in the toilet. Wait until you find out what this stuff was going to be. You might. I ain't going to say that, but you're going to be angry. So
I don't know anything, but all I know is one thing. I was keeping up with the porting, and I was keeping up with the videos of what was the one Stadia team member? His name was Marcin Udat. I think I said his name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But man, that whole Windows emulator thing, like, bro, that was insane. And it's like I was thinking to myself, I was like, there's no way that they're gonna give up on that. Because that thing right there is like that is insane.
Guys, this next year we gotta buckle in because the world economy sucks and the tech industry is gonna take a hit. I mean, we got a lot of cool stuff coming out and it's about to be the holiday. There's a lot of cool products that are coming out and that have come out, like the Steam Deck. But now that the economy is catching up, I really feel like we're gonna see some things slow down, and it's everybody's gonna be taking a hit this next year coming up.
So Ninja Guy X, what are your thoughts on the perception of us as content creators? Like, were we too foolish and stupid to even believe in this? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, so the fact of gaming doesn't matter to me because I have platforms everywhere. I can play wherever. That doesn't, I don't care. That's not what Stadia was about. It was about the community. It was about the cool features that we had compared to other places, the tech and everything else. The games, we can play them. Everybody has ways to play them anyway. So when I started, when I've heard the news, of course, one of the first thing to me was, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't really generally have interest in other cloud gaming platform. So what, am I just going to stream games that I like? That's not specific enough. Nobody's going to be interested in that, but, after a while, I started realizing, not realizing, but just, understanding what I'm going to head towards and, what's going to be fun to do on my channel. And so it doesn't matter for, people who were at Stadia. It doesn't matter where they go. Like, of course, they'll go somewhere else. And, it is what it is. I know that, some people has bashed other cloud platforms and then they're going at, they're going to cover these platforms afterwards. But, the past is the past, and everybody can change their mind. You're allowed to, not stick to whatever you're saying. Like, everybody, what my spouse says, she says, if you never change your mind, you're a crazy person. That's what she said. So that's my thought on it. Everybody everybody can change. Everybody can have different opinions on stuff. And, I'm definitely fine with it. I am honestly not really interested in, other cloud gaming platform a lot, and I might not, keep watching these cloud gaming channels, but that's just me. And but I'll continue loving you guys. It's a very cool community that we've built, and I'll never, I always latch on to that because it's just an amazing group of people that we have.
Yeah. I mean, agree, I know this took the wind out of a lot of people's sails, but you just need to kind of take a deep breath and remind yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we were passionate about Stadia, right? But you got to remind yourself, you love gaming and you're passionate about gaming. You just got to find that groove again. So, I mean, it's just a matter of getting past this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, let me answer a very interesting question in the chat. This is my good brother, Geek to Sneak. Geek, I love you like the child I never paid child support.
Geek. Geek's awesome, man.
I love Geek. Geek, awesome. You have the wrong perspective here. Here's why. Geek, you and I and most of us on this panel have been fortunate enough and have been blessed to have other platforms. So like myself, when I heard the news, you know, basically what it was is I was folding laundry. I was literally folding laundry and my phone was buzzing so much that it fell off of my little gamer rack that I have in the office. And I said, what the hell? And I thought it was the people on the website because we have our own little communication app. And I was like, damn, they're building something, you know what I'm saying, on the website, and they must have discovered. So I said, let me go check it out because it made my phone fall off my shelf. And when I looked and I saw, I stated, you know, MM2K, how you doing? Oh, you must be embarrassed, you dumbass. And I just saw all these messages on Twitter, and I said, what the hell is going on here? And then I saw the Verge article, and I was like, you can't be serious. And I just laughed. I said, oh wow. And I went to Twitter and I immediately put the little Homer Simpson thing up there because at the end of the day, for me, you know, like, yes, our content was centered around Stadia. Look, all we got to do is change our name to Cloud Dosage, right? And cover cloud. Now we got too much stuff to cover. And for me, I got a PlayStation 5. I got a 3070. Games run beautiful there. So we're blessed. But everybody's not blessed like that.
No.
And I get it, Geek. Geek, I get it. You're not running a channel with me, but you got to take into consideration, I talked to a billion more people than you. While I had COVID.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people look at, like, with my situation, a lot of people are like, oh, man, come on, it ain't all that. It's like, bro, I got other things to take care of. You know, like.
Like, everybody's not. And I've told this story over 1 billion times. About, I call him Dolo, my friend who worked with me. He was a manager with me, but because he had girls in college and he was traveling from another state to come to where I was at, he couldn't have a console. So every time I would be talking about games, he would be sitting there talking smack. But as soon as everybody left, one day he just revealed to me, like, man, I envy you. And I'm like, you envy me? Like, what do I got going on? And he broke down his gaming situation to me. And I gave him a couple of Xbox 360s. There's people like that in the world. Mm-hmm. And as gamers, I get it. Just as much. But here's the thing to always remember. Karma's a bad man pajama. Just as good as things are going for any of us that have all these platforms, it can all be taken away. Just like that. And we could be in a situation like other gamers that had nothing but Stadia to rely on. Just as much as my phone was buzzing when when people were trying to make fun of me, it was equally buzzing when I was sick, had COVID, and I couldn't talk to people like how I am now. And people were like, MM2K, where you at? I need somebody to talk to. I have nowhere else to game. Now I don't feel like I can connect to y'all. So this is, I get where people laugh at this and people are like, oh, just move on, get over it. You're blessed if you're able to do that. I was able to do that. But please don't slight your fellow gamer that may not be as fortunate as you. Because I can attest to it. Because
it's really irritating if you don't, like, I know somebody that don't have the options, and I can see that it's exhausting to them that no one understands that.
It's that serious. And not to cut you off, Lo-Fi, but I just want people to understand the seriousness of this. And people like Ray and other people can, I don't want to give out any other names, but I know Ray ain't going to mind. Ray's not one of these people, but Ray's one of the people that's looking to help. It's gotten that serious to where we're working on creating a spreadsheet of the people that we know that are going to be affected, people that have supported this platform, have supported and did some other things, that we're going to look for ways to try to help them out and convert over. This is serious. Yeah. Gaming, that's why Lo-Fi said people are stressed out. Gaming was a serious stress reliever for people that they couldn't experience for years until Stadia.
Ooh, imagine you got 5 kids and 2 jobs and you're juggling, and all of a sudden Stadia comes along and is like, here's a free console and some games. Man. Like, it's gone, bro. And it's gone.
And then when you look at the other platforms, GFN is just too expensive or not reliable enough for a lot of people. Luna's not everywhere. Xbox Cloud Gaming isn't reliable for a lot of people. Stadia was perfect for a lot of these people. So, and I'm not just trying to target geek. I see a lot of people with this mentality because we're more fortunate. Don't think like that. Think like, because I could have very easily never even started this platform. If I was thinking about my situation, I could have said, you know what, I'm at 900 followers over at the MM2K channel. I'll just embed my Stadia stuff there. I'll lose some, but I'll gain a lot more. It's all about me. We as gamers shouldn't think like that. And I get to where you guys don't have the conversations that I have, but this is serious for some gamers. Understand that. So that's why we're talking about Stadia here. We're not going to talk about it forever, but I haven't had an opportunity to sit there with a panel and talk and get their thoughts and feelings about it and talk about it in an open format like this with gamers the way I promised them I would while I'm sick. So I get it. You found a way to gain people and you're able to move on like myself, great. But I'm not looking at just where I'm at. I'm looking at where my fellow gamers are at, the people that have supported me when they didn't have to support me. I'm going to continue to support them. So
and then with 2K, you know, I really, really like that you said that, because I'm like you and I talk to a lot of people in the back, right?
Yes.
And it breaks my heart so bad hearing about people who won't be able to game anymore. Like, something that I really cherish that Purple Haze says, she always says, as long as you're gaming, I'm happy, right?
Yes.
And I said that before, and when I heard some of my good friends saying that they won't be gaming anymore, I think that's the thing that made me the most emotional, because you shouldn't be like restricted to game, right? Because gaming, like you said, is just a way to change your mind and do things like that. So just to reflect on that, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for getting your thoughts on that, because this was really emotional for me, especially that part of the Stadia closure. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I mean, again, I'm fortunate. I could very well say, haha, sorry, suckers, I got a PlayStation 5 and a no. People who were scraping pennies together and buying games were so happy that we were here for them that they supported us. Look, this is my last $2, but you take it because I love what you're doing. I'm not turning my back on those people. So I get it. And if it's too much for you, you have the right to sit there and say, you know what, I've heard enough about Stadia. I'm done. Because I mean,
we did have a nice size. Like, that was the thing about Stadia, right? Like, it was accessible. And I don't mean accessible to you and me. I'm talking about people that their body doesn't function in the right way to be able to hold a controller, or they have to do things a little differently, you know? Stadia was very good about being inclusive to people that weren't included before. Yeah. And like, there's people like that are on a fixed income, and like they were, this was a getaway for them, and they can't do it.
They might do it no more.
Yeah, there's some options, but you don't know what like happen. That's the weird thing about cloud gaming. Like, somebody might just have a TV with a smart app on it, you know, and that was how they were able to do all this. And now they got to go get some other hardware. There's a million situations that could be going wrong for somebody.
True. Yeah. So we just, as gamers, all I'm saying is be a little bit more broad thinking. If you can move on, great. You're blessed. Feel fortunate about that. But realize that there were a lot of people, particularly on this platform, that weren't just tinkering with something and ended up liking it. This was their only way to feasibly game.
Yeah, and it's like you got to worry about your mental health a lot, you know. And it like I said, this was an escape from a lot of that. So I hope these companies that are left standing like step up. That's what I was talking about earlier with these features. When I go over there and I see there's a missing feature that I need, I'm gonna talk about it.
Yeah, Amazon Luna, please.
Yeah,
step
expand.
Up.
Oh my gosh, yes. Could you
add
please?
an EA channel, expand 4K, like just step up, like, because you guys are moving kind of slow, and xCloud is about to let you play your library that you own, and all they got to do is basically make their hardware better. I mean, that's not easy to do. It's probably going to take them another year and a half or something. But I mean, you don't want to be waiting around for that. Like, you need to step it up.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they will, man. Hopefully they will. And we'll get into that. But those are just our thoughts about, and a great discussion. Again, Geek, I wasn't trying to target you. I mean, I still believe that's the wrong perspective. But again, I think we often look at everybody's gaming situation as our own. And I learned years ago, that was like a good 10 years ago when that happened to me, that, wow, like this guy that's a manager, probably making as much money as I am, he can't afford to, his situation was different. And then that's when it really hit me like, boom, I'm really in a silo. So that's just my message to anybody listening to this. Don't be stuck in your silo. Understand that there are other gamers that are hurting. And people have reached out to me and they, you know, people that I haven't talked to in a long time, and shout out to them. And once we get this spreadsheet together, we're going to tackle it down. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get some help. And I'm going to be happy about that, because those people supported me when they didn't have to. So I'm just going to give the support back.
And that even takes me back to that gaming's not enough. Because I mean, imagine you're disabled, you can't get out of your house, you can't go and meet and hang out with your friend, but now you got this place where you can do it, and it's gone. So imagine how devastating that has to be for some people that are like, oh, I can't hang out with my friends. I mean, of course you can figure it out, but imagine that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's got to weigh heavy on you.
Yeah.
Yep. So interesting conversation though, but you know, I thought it was important to address that, and I appreciate everybody's questions and input on that. Everybody in the chat as well. So thank you very much. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's talk about Google's reputation. Boo. I mean, no, let's cut them some slack. No, we don't. We ain't got to do that. You do whatever you want to do. So
shout out to the Stadia team, but the rest of Google, here we come.
The Stadia team,
Stadia team did the best they could, and they did an amazing job.
All those donations during the charity, bro. I was like, man.
Yeah. Let me say this. I can't speak for the panel, but I'm going to say anything that I may say that may be a little bit derogatory towards Google. It doesn't represent my thoughts on the Stadia team, past and current, and you know, including people like Aaron Hoffman John. I love Aaron Hoffman John. John, Shaka, Gracie, Dan, and Chris from Google, Nathan,
and not
Bain,
to mention the people that collaborated with them.
Nathan Bain and those that collab. Look, it's and Dov Zimmerich. I really feel that Dov Zimmerich was really like, look, we got to get more grounded, stop with this lofty stuff, and I think they would really put them in a great space. Kareen Yap, can't forget about Kareen either. All those fantastic people. This is not about y'all.
I've had so many good experiences in my life because of Kareen Yap.
Yes.
So many.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
But I will say this, you guys are just doing your job, and you're trying your best to make the company or the sector that you're in better. So it's not your fault. But a fish rots from the head. I'll just put it like that. Famous saying, a good business mentor of mine said, a fish rots from the head. Meaning when you look no further than the top of the company itself to figure out where your ire may be best placed. But I've said enough. I want to get to the panel, because that's why you guys are here too. Let's hear what the panel thinks about this. Many of us on this panel somewhat have an understanding, as we've alluded to. We haven't spilled all the tea yet, but it'll come out eventually. We understand what prompted Google to make this decision. With that said, do you think there could have been a better way? I'm going to start with Ninja Guy X. Do you think, knowing what we know, still, do you think that they were justified in their decision, or there still could have been a different way? What do you think, Ninja Guy X? I'll start with you.
this is such an easy question. Like, it's so easy. Of course, like they did the worst way they could ever do it.
Absolutely.
They just closed it. They did not tell anybody. They did not tell the players. They did not tell the developers. They did not tell the state. Like, they didn't even tell their employees on that day. I talked to about 3 employees, and they were like what's happening? Like, they had no idea themselves.
Wow.
I had a developer even having a meeting
Yes.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but anyway, I had a developer in a meeting on that day, and it's like they had no idea. Like they said, like, we don't know what to say to you. Like we didn't even had ideas ourselves. So to me, I don't know what else to say, but anything else that they could have done would have been better. Like the best way would have been to slowly stop making products or stop doing updates on it, stop bringing in the game slowly, you know, like make sure that every developer had their game out for at least, you know, a few months to get some revenue and all of that. And because the reason why it's the worst way is because a lot of dev is going to lose money because they had their port done. They took a lot of time and resources to do them, and now they're just out. So I really hope that Google do something about it. I hope that they have a budget for the developers. I know that we all are all getting our money, but I hope that the developers are also fairly, adjusted for that. But yeah,
I hope
man,
so too.
Dude, I'm glad they're doing the refund thing, but that's something that's yet to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And then with all the, how did you pay? Did you pay on with Google Play? Did you pay on a card that you don't have anymore? Like, it's gonna be a mess, bro. And then we're gonna be really mad.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk in the back, Lo-Fi. We'll talk in the back. I got some stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Oh man.
But that's been my main concern, because it's like I'm grateful they're doing that, but at the same time, and this is another reason I feel like, you know, it was just like last second, like they didn't even realize they were doing it until they were doing it.
Yeah.
But bro, you're giving us refunds. Why are you giving it to me right after Christmas?
Right.
Yeah, you know what? See, now that you say that too, Lo-Fi, like, and then like listening to what Ninja Guy X was talking about, how the employees didn't even know. It just really, like, it honestly makes me feel like something else happened up top. Like maybe
that's exactly what happened.
And then like all of a sudden, like, you know, for them to make this deal or whatever, whatever happened.
That's why when people say it failed, I'm like, it didn't fail, bro. Something else is going on.
Something else happened.
Something else had to have, because like it really doesn't make sense. Like it all happened kind of quick, and like I don't know, man.
Look, here's
it would have been hilarious if them Chromebooks come with a Stadia logo on them.
Oh boy.
I can't imagine them being that bad. But here's what I will say. Because I see comments in the chat like, oh, they you know, the business wasn't going well. No, Google at first thought that they could outdo the projections. Then they realized at the end of 2020, no, you're going to be a 1% business like everyone else. The company then sat and made a decision then and said, look, we're going to grind this out. We're still of the most engaged of the cloud platforms. We'll grind this out, but in order for us to keep that up and make this sustainable, we got to find an easier way to get games on this platform, and two, we got to raise our subsequent business, which is immersive stream, to help, you know, garner in more assets. That was what their plan was, and they understood the timeline that it would take to make that come to fruition. So they knew that there would be a year to 2 gap to when they were just basically making this turnaround. They didn't even let the turnaround finish. After you make normally when you come up with a business plan like that, you already project your losses, the time, the gaps and all that other stuff. So it wasn't that, business wasn't booming in those 2 years. They weren't expecting it to boom. All they were expecting was still to be of the most engaged platforms, which they were. They didn't even let the plan go into fruition, which should lead everybody to understand that something else happened more recently that made them decide to pull the plug. I'm not justifying it at all.
Let me ask all
but
you
that's
this.
what happened.
Let me ask you all of you this. With everything we saw that they were about to release and everything we know they were about to put forward behind the scenes that we know about on the panel, if they would have gave Stadia 2 more months, don't you feel like that would have been like a complete game changer, like the way people look at Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that would have been like this is what we've been waiting for. This is what everybody's been talking about. It's finally here. And they were like, nah, let's shut it off right now.
Bro, they were just now starting to get back into getting AAAs. Like Need for Speed. We had Dead Island coming, bro. Bro, they were just now.
And it was about to get more massive. It was about to get more to literally, this problem about games was going away.
Man, see, you know what? See, that
solved the game problem.
My whole
and boom.
Man, see, you know what? Yeah, look, you just said it right there. That just confirms my whole suspicion, man. Like somebody else had to have come up to them and be like, "Look, shut this down.
We got a deal."
And then we got a deal, and we're probably just like, "Okay, yep, let's just go ahead and do that."
We like that money.
It doesn't
let's
make
do
any
it.
sense. Yeah. Does that make any sense?
So let me do this real quick because I see this out here, and again, for anybody that may be misconstrued, Anthony Dunkley says, "Come on, stop making excuses. The numbers didn't budge, so they decided to shut it." That is armchair quarterbacking, Anthony. We'll be back here in due time when the information comes out. That's not what happened. Period. There's nothing else I'll do what Next Gen had to do.
Sometime next year, there's going to be an announcement where everybody goes, "Oh,
exactly." Anthony, we'll have this conversation again. We'll have some tea and crumpets. We'll have this conversation again when that information comes out. It's going to be a while. Honestly, it'll be a while. But for the sake of knowledge, you can believe whatever you want. I can't make you believe anything. But for those that want to know what happened, it's not going to bring Stadia back, but there's a lot of people that like to know what happened. Just like knowing what happened on live doesn't bring on live back, but facts matter to people. For those that want to know the facts, this was not an occurrence of, the numbers didn't look right. You can argue and say, well, if the numbers were phenomenal, they wouldn't have done that. And but it wasn't about the numbers were bad in comparison to their peers. That's not the case.
That's the worst thing about this is not
that makes it even worse.
There's no closure.
Exactly. So actually, Anthony, it's even worse than what you're trying to prescribe. So no one's making excuses. It's even worse. They were still amongst their peers. They were about to really stomp on the thing that was their Achilles heel, and they still decided to pull the plug. Nobody's making excuses. Think about it, Anthony. That makes it even worse, doesn't it?
Yeah. There you go. Another thing too that you can think about too is like they had all these features, all these different things that were coming, and to somebody else that might look enticing, and they're like, dang, you got all this data, tested out the platform.
I want to say this to Anthony. Like, I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying. But this is us discussing amongst guys that have been here through the whole thing. It's just us, scratching our heads right now, really, bro.
Well,
super fans.
So don't take it like we're trying to defend state. Like, that's over. It's dead, bro.
No, nobody. Well, hold on, Anthony. I see nobody knows what Luna is. Nothing against Luna. When they heard that AC Mirage was going to Luna, everybody they would like that Snoop Dogg meme. Who? So, but Luna's not going anywhere. So that again, for the sake of, and again, we won't continue to have the back and forth. We understand that that's your belief, and you can hold that belief system. But for the sake of facts, that's why we're doing this. I don't do conjecture. I go and I dig and I find out the information, and I wasn't tapped into Google's high brass like me and Sundar. We weren't in potato sack races, but I was tapped in to a lot of things that was happening at Stadia. And trust me, this was a last minute decision. Something happened that Google felt like they needed to take advantage of. And I don't want to use the word require. Right. Well, it kind of did require them in their minds to do this. So,
we had a lot of inside people talking to people in our community, and Google disbanded them. They broke up, so there ain't no going back to them for information because they're just as confused as what the hell happened too.
Yep. So
I mean, everybody has their opinions and feelings about it, that you talk to within that group, but it's like they still really don't. They're doing the same thing we're all doing. There's no closure. There's no definitive answer. We all have our own feelings about each little aspect of it. But from what I know, next year there should be something that happens that gives us a little closure.
Exactly. And that's my thing about it. And it sounds like that we all on this panel kind of know what those things are. And I know the people in the chat are like, you bastards, just tell us. But knowing that, again, the games issue was going to be eradicated.
I'll tell you this, with Clive, maybe is a strong word. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I love Clive. I love how you put that out there. I was like, my brother's sitting there with the tightrope. He's sitting there dangling on toe to toe. He
got the whole jug of tea just dumping it.
Yeah, he got it. That's what I told y'all in several podcasts ago. Go watch Clive's show. You pretty much get what was going on. But let me ask this, and I'll start with Suna on this one. I'll go to Suna, Ninja Guy, and then I'll close off with Lo-Fi. So it sounds like that we all on this panel kind of know what was coming because we were tapped in. And again, for those that like, what do you mean you tapped in? Here on this channel, we told you about the low change porting several months before Google did. So we were tapped into some things. Here's what I will tell you, or here's what I'm going to ask you. And I'm going to start with Suna. It's kind of like the last question that I asked. Knowing that Google was about to eradicate their gaming problem, even though they had these deals that influenced this move, along with some of the financial matters, don't you think it would have been more feasible for them to still continue the service, implement the things, do the deals, and just say, look, it's going to come to an end, but we're still going to bring stuff to you. And here's our plan. By X time, here's our plan on what we're going to do to deconverge. Do you think that was a better way to handle it, or they had no other way to do but what they did?
I mean, I don't know, because like if there is something else that's going to happen, I would have to wait to see what that is first. Mm-hmm. So me personally, knowing that, what I think the low change porting was, and like just kind of following what that was, mm-hmm. I thought that was going to be huge. I made so many videos about that, like them getting more games and stuff, because I was keeping up with it. I think they should have just kept the platform alive, because like they were going to have, like, to me, and like in my thought, I felt like they were going to be the cloud gaming, like Steam or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I was looking at that for so long, and like, I'm like really into programming. Like, I'm a programmer. So I was like, I knew not exactly, but I knew a lot of the stuff that they were talking about in those videos. And I was like, man, this is going to be huge. And then, I don't know. I just honestly wish that they would have just stuck with Stadia and kind of just shut up a lot of people too, because I feel like it just would have been amazing. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
Ninja Guy, again, knowing what we know, that we're not, I know we're teasing the chat, we're not spilling the tea on. Let's just go with the whole games thing. Wouldn't it have made more sense, even if Google was approached and said, look, in order for us entities to operate with you and make these deals with you, we would prefer that you don't compete with us. Even if someone did approach you, wouldn't it make sense to say, look, organically, people, once they see that you're involved and now you have access to this tech, organically, they might start rolling anyway. So why don't we just, let it be known?
You're going to get me to spill tea, bro.
What'd you say? Am I spilling too much?
You're going to have me spilling tea. You're going to have me spilling tea.
Am I spilling too much tea or?
Bro, it's just so common sense, bro. Look at all the trash PlayStation been talking because they're on Azure. They don't want to pay Microsoft to use Azure plus compete with them.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Open your eyeballs.
Delete, mass delete. Ninja Guy X. What do you? I mean, do you think that they still could have? And again, I'm saying this for Google to hear. They still could have made the deals that they're going to make and continue to service and just deconvert right before these things were going to come to fruition. What do you think about that?
So, I mean, it goes with the previous question. Yeah. Like the answer is going to be kind of the same. It's just everything else that they should have been done. Yeah. So literally anything, any single thing that they could have done would have been better because they literally just pulled the plug. And I like, there's still some people who doesn't know what's happening. There's still some people who's just trying to get to understand.
Yeah, there's people that I've seen in chats that said, why are you giving away your Google products? Because people are mad that Stadia's dead. What? Stadia's dead? What? Because there's a lot of people that game on the platform that don't be on here with us. They just game and they come every 3 months or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, I get the people that feel that way. I mean, it makes sense to me. I understand it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just like even for the people that say, oh, they were losing money or they weren't making money. Like, dude, let's look at let's talk about the Red Ring of Death. Let's talk about that and how they hung in through it, bro. It ain't even that.
Xbox lost $10 billion.
They made no money during the 360 generation.
Before they turned a profit. They lost $10 billion. So it's the little bit of investment that was coming here in a granular scheme of things. That's why I said that's conjecture. That's not what really happened. But I mean, people may see the deals that come to fruition at the end of the day. And I'm only being careful because I know, again, with my Fortune 500 experience, I know sometimes as things get leaked out, that could kill
people are still working on deals. Yeah, exactly.
That could kill deals and that could put people at risk. That's the only reason why I'm, trying to keep it under wraps. That's why I just point out obvious stuff, bro. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Delete, control alt delete. No. But must be eliminated.
Syntax error. Yeah, exactly. No. But again, when you guys see the stuff that's going to come about, like I just highlighted a comment that is a very interesting one. I just put it on the screen that said something very interesting. So when I think a lot of people see the deals that are going to come from this, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I would have probably." Just said, well, what's the point of Stadia anyway? But my problem personally is the people that had no other way to game. Now they got to wait for these deals to happen. Now they're stuck like Chuck. And it's not and look, nothing. If anything taught us, nothing's 100%. The deals may not go through.
Mm-hmm.
They may not go through.
They may not go through. Yeah, it really might not.
I mean, it sounds like they will, but they may not go through. Go ahead, Lo-Fi.
And like I was thinking about this earlier when you were saying something. It's like in gaming, you can say something 3 months gonna happen 3 months from now. It might as well be 10 years from now, bro, because things can change.
It's vaporware. Yep. Exactly. These deals may not go through, so it's not. I get, and I've talked to some people close to Google, and it's like, well, there's some things that are going to happen, and I'm like, I know the things that are going to be proposed, but that does nothing for the people left out in the cold. For that, for X amount of time, and you at Google can't confirm that these are going to happen because people pull out all types of stuff. Look at the thing with PlayStation and Azure and Microsoft. That's an exploration team. That's not etched in stone. That hasn't occurred yet. From what so anything can happen. So. I'm with Ninja Guy X in the panel on this. Anything else could have been better. You still could have pursued that bill, those deals. Anything could have been better.
SPG's been saying he always thought if they ever did this, that they would just let him keep having access to the games that he bought with no updates and no upkeep. But me personally, it's like I'm looking at it from Google's standpoint. Why would they leave that product sitting there to rot on the vine? They want you to remember it when it was at its peak and how good it was. They don't want you to look at it and have a memory of it when it was getting all janky and they hadn't been upkeeping on it. They're not going to do that.
Anthony brings out another interesting point, which again, this is why I love doing this show, because we get to educate the listeners on what's going on. He says, yeah, Microsoft may have lost money, but their user base was getting bigger. Same can't be said for Stadia, true. Unfortunately. That has nothing to do with the T in China. On Live's player base was gradually getting big. It wasn't getting big enough for them to make money. Platforms and businesses are not in this to just say we got a lot of people using our services. They're in this at the end of the, don't ever forget this. They're in this to make money. So here's what happened with Microsoft. This is what everybody should be educated on. They were willing to lose $10 billion in order to make sure that PlayStation didn't take over the living room. That's all Xbox was a stopgap. It wasn't your atypical business that was meant to make money. Under any other circumstances, Xbox would have been killed by anybody else because of how much money they lost. Microsoft as a company was so worried about PlayStation taking over the living room that they went through with the Xbox deal and were willing to lose $10 billion, which include the red ring of death, which I don't care what anybody says. I love Peter Moore. He's my favorite gaming exec, but they knew what they were doing. But they had to get more Xboxes out there than PlayStations to hold off PlayStation. That's what it was all about. Once they finally beat the juggernaut, then they said, how can we make money off of this? And that's when they created the Xbox One. And when that looked to be a failure, Xbox was ready to dump it that fast. Okay? So it's not about how many people were, and Xbox had a lot of people then. It isn't about the user base growing. It's about making money. And the only reason why that they were willing to shed that much money as long as they did is because they were worried about PlayStation. There's no such concern here with Google. Gaming isn't, they weren't trying to keep Amazon out of the living room and all that other stuff. So that's why the player base wasn't relevant. It's all about how much money they were making. And when they weren't making any more money, they were about to shut it. Clearly, it wasn't until Phil Spencer had a conversation with Satya Nadella and said, we can turn this around. And mind you, in Xbox's lowest consumer saturation, which was the Xbox One, next to the OG Xbox, but it was far less than what the 360 did. They made more money. So they had more users with Xbox 360, but they made way more money with the Xbox One because they were more efficient. So it's all about money at the end of the day. And as far as the 1% pie, Google was up there with the rest of them. They were up there with the rest of them. So that had nothing to do with it. Again, there were other extenuating circumstances that led to where we're at today, sadly.
And I mean, Google's still in gaming. You can't, they're the biggest piece of gaming, even though we want to ignore it, is mobile gaming.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yep. They have the biggest piece of the pie when you stop and look at it. Just saying.
Still doesn't make the decision any easier. But so let me ask this to the panel, and then we'll move on to our final section. This is an easy one. I know this is a tough one. Let me be a little sarcastic here. Can Google ever be trusted as a source of gaming for an audience outside of mobile? Do you say if 2 years from now, let's just say if the deals don't go through and they're like, well, we're bringing it back and we're calling it Stadia, or they try to come back and mainstream.
I love that.
We're crashing down to the earth like the Stadia meteor. Yeah.
I think their only option is to establish a third party and use them as their face. I think that's their only option if they did that.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, they cannot. And
just be like, oh, we just handle the back end. That's the only way they're going to creep back in and everybody's going to trust them, bro. I'm telling you.
Man, look, man. they lost trust with the publishers and with the players. Like there is no way they can have their own platform for a long time. Like I mean, even after a decade, I think people are still gonna look back at this and be like, I don't know. Like I honestly think it's gonna take them at least 15 years if they want to do something like that again. Like
I don't know. We'll see, man. Because think of like going back to the Red Ring of Death thing. You know how many Xboxes I bought because of that stupid Red Ring of Death?
Yeah, but you know what though? That was a great generation, and Xbox is still around. It's still around.
Yeah,
like
I love, like Satya Nadella. As much as I rag on Xbox personally because I don't like the Phil Spencer regime. That regime would have never done this. If they were in charge instead of Stadia, they would have never done it. Or if they would have decided to do it, no, they would have never done it because they would have said they're too forward thinking. They would have been. To me, it's like say if Lo-Fi guy. I use this. I'm gonna use this real quick, and then I'm gonna go to Ninja Guy X, and then we're gonna go to the next section. Say Lo-Fi went and bought all these comic books. There's the rare editions. Only 100 copies were made, and he was able to get 20 of them, right? And he's thinking in his mind, oh man, in a week, each of these babies are going to be worth $5,000 a pop on eBay, right? And he goes on eBay, and they're not worth $5,000 a pop yet. They're just worth 500. So he's like, oh man, this ain't growing as fast as I thought it was. I mean, but eventually these things will be big. And let's just say me, Suna, and Ninja Guy X walk up on Lo-Fi. He's low on cash. He's about to have a party, and he's, and I know he got these 20 books, and I'm like, dude, give me $1,000, give a copy to Suna, give a copy to Ninja Guy X, give a copy to myself, and then I want you to burn the rest. And Lo-Fi's like, whoa, that don't make sense. Why would I burn the rest? Why wouldn't I take advantage of the rest? I'm not giving you this $1,000 unless you do that, because the less comic books that are out there, the better it is for me. So this $1,000 is yours. If you burn the rest. Now,
bro, I'm telling you, it's chess. It's chess.
If Lo-Fi is thinking like Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer, he's looking at those other 17. He's like, hell no. These are going to be worth thousands. It may not come to fruition now, but these are going to be worth thousands years down the line. Go kick rocks, MM2K and company. But when you think like Google and you got ADD, and if something ain't blowing up immediately, that's when you say, give me the $1,000. You got a deal.
Well,
because I'll take this $1,000 and go buy more books. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep going.
I will say this, one positive thing for Google out of this whole thing is that now it can literally like back in so many people, and now that Twitch is kind of like messing up a little bit. I mean,
YouTube
I do think they are going to be
revamp.
And then like on top of that, like they can have direct streaming on pretty much everything now, like Xbox, PlayStation, like, or whatever, GFN, like. Honestly, so now like YouTube gaming gonna be like even bigger because you got all these cloud platforms that could have direct streaming. Like, so
if you see direct streaming to YouTube show up on a platform, you're gonna be like,
yeah.
Are they doing the deal? Are they doing the dirty back there?
Are they part of the pie? What do you think, Ninja Guy X? Do you think that? I mean, would you be first in line if Google came back out with Stadia? Said, "Oh, we're back in this, baby. We're gonna do."
I can't get the fact of that thing. I love the name. Let's go. Okay, so I agree with you guys. I agree. Stadia, Google can't come back into gaming. Like nobody will trust them. Like they ruined their reputation. Like it's never gonna happen. If they can give it a try, maybe it'll work. But all of us Stadia supporters will be like, you know what? Not this time, like a lot of us are going to be like that. And all other all other cloud services, cloud gaming services, they're safe because, their subscription, they already have their reputation built. They're really good. But what sucks is that because of Stadia, we might even never see a cloud platform in a long time.
Yeah.
Because as soon as another company try to do a cloud gaming platform, they'd be like, Google, the biggest company ever, couldn't even do it. So why would I even trust this?
Google didn't leave gaming.
Right?
Google didn't leave gaming. I just said that earlier. They own the biggest piece of pie in gaming, bro.
Oh, well, they're not getting my money. But anyway.
I was just responding to the chat he highlighted.
To me, okay. But so I think that cloud gaming services is fine. We'll see more, and they'll be doing good. But cloud gaming platform, I think that Google ruined that, sadly. I'm so sad that that they ruined that reputation, because that's the reason myself I was into cloud gaming. It's because I could buy games without a service and play them whenever I want. I don't need to be scared about losing my save file. Well, that's ironic now, but but I really hope that someone else do it, because I would support it again, because I love that structure of owning a game in the cloud. So that's my thought on it. I just goodbye cloud platforming because of Google.
Yep. And you know what, like, to add to that, Google just in my eyes, they just made it harder for people to trust Amazon Luna, or like somebody coming into this.
For sure.
Yeah,
because now, like, people are going to be skeptical on that, like, dang, well, the same thing could happen to him. And
I don't think they hurt themselves on the business to business side, but they're forward facing to customers. Like, nah, they're done. Like, I don't think anybody wants to deal with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And look, we know the media is vicious, and maybe they did. And let me just piggyback this with this. This comment from Christopher Torres, where he says the only thing Google has, is immersive stream for other companies. Hopefully this ain't spilling too much tea. I don't think immersive stream is still existing. I could be wrong about that. I don't think immersive.
I think immersive stream's fine, because they still got other things in Google search that uses immersive stream.
Well, here's what I understand, and I could be totally wrong on this. From what I understand, the deals were pursuing of, no, we only want access to this tech. Like, we don't want everybody else.
Yeah,
I think so.
Getting access to that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
So you branch it, like we get no advantage. I mean, if you think about it, that's why I use the comic book thing, where I'm telling you to burn the other 17 copies, because I want a clear advantage. I don't want nobody else that I can control having access to this. I want a clear advantage, and that's what the people that have made the deals here. From what I could be wrong on this, and I'm gonna say that again, I could be wrong. So immersive stream may not be around, which may be the smart thing, because I don't even on a business to business level. Because here's what people like Ron Ormenia of Ars Technica and them are going to do. Let's just say if Sega came back out with a console and they're using immersive stream, you know what they're going to do? Oh, I don't know if you want to invest in that platform, because Google may get tired of doing this business to business and might pull the plug on that. And as ridiculous as that may sound, again, Ron Media is doing victory laps because he said Google Stadia was going to die. So what is everybody else doing now? They're looking at him as he knows what he's talking about in totality. So they're going to butcher anything that they find that has the Google, like, business to business thing. The best thing Google could do is, I think, kill both of their things, the business, and then just work exclusively with a handful of companies, as this is what I'm hearing that they're doing. You know what I mean?
Just to hit the crowd to some game, bro. It's the art of war. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're right, M2K. I think that immersive stream will never be publicly there. I think that it will be used internally, right? Like, they'll sell the service. So, like, for example, Destiny 2, right? They were using it internally to test stuff, and it was really convenient to them. So that's what I think it will happen. I think the public people will want to hear about it, but Google will, like, make deals internally to help out other things. That's my opinion on that.
Gotcha.
Man.
All right. Wow. Go ahead, Suna. What were you about to say, brother?
Nah, nothing.
He's just like, man.
We're just blowing his mind a little.
It's crazy. It's like, no, I think you guys all put it together along with Ninja Guy X perfectly. Even if you find out what's going to happen, you're going to look at it and you're going to ask, well, why didn't y'all do this instead? Or why? There's 1,000 different ways. But that's why I said earlier, a fish rots from the head. This has nothing to do with the Stadia team, former or prior. They're just trying to do their damn jobs, and they do a wonderful job at it, an excellent job at it. It's your leadership. Yeah. It's the leadership, so
they don't understand gaming, and
they don't. Yeah. Oh no. Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, on the internet, there's one group of people you don't ever want to make mad at you, and that's the gamers. So,
yes. Good luck, Google. Amen to that. Yes, good luck.
Good luck.
Gamers are brutal. They're brutal. So I don't, it is what it is. I can, and like I always say, I can show you better than I can tell you. Maybe it was best that they broke up everything. They're gonna keep their names off of it. Like it'll be Walmart brand. It won't be Members Mark. It'll be Walmart brand. Gosh. You know what I mean? And nobody will be the wiser.
On the Walmart website, as soon as you said that is so weird. That is so freaking weird.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
Crazy. No, sorry. Now let's go to the final part, and then we'll close out of this sad moment of reflection. Where to now? Like, I want to start with you again, Ninja Guy X, and then we'll go lo-fi, and then we'll close out this first question with Suna. Okay. But Ninja Guy X, you kind of answered this question already, but I want you to elaborate on it more. Do you still trust cloud gaming's stability after this?
Yeah, so I guess I'll repeat myself a little bit, but yes, cloud gaming is still a thing going. Okay. GFN is successful. Luna is successful. From what I know. Wait, there's something. Oh, yeah, Game Pass. Game Pass is killing it. They're not done yet. We'll see more. We haven't talked a lot about Game Pass today, actually, but they're really killing it. But yeah, definitely cloud gaming is here to stay. Whoever tries to get into business right now might get crapped on. They have to be persistent, and
especially if they're small.
Yes. Yeah. But even like Black Nut and there's another Boosteroids. Yeah, they're still doing like decently, right? Like I'm not hearing any much like negativity towards them, but so it's hard to tell. It's the thing right now is just going great. It's we're still seeing the cloud tech going. We're still seeing some cool stuff. Where it's sad that Stadia is out because it had some cool features that is lacking from other services, but the tech is still there. I tried the 3080 tier from GFN today. Yeah, and nice, the tech is there. The tech is amazing. Yeah, it just absolutely needs to be have more tools built around it. But absolutely. So cloud is there to stay. We'll still see it. I don't think that these companies are going to be. I'm going to say they're not going to be as stupid as Google and just randomly get out, right? So that's where I stand on that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like that. Suna, what are your thoughts? Do you think cloud gaming still has some stability after Google did what they did?
Yes. Now I got two things I want to say. So I think it has stability, but I do think as far as innovation and stuff, I think it's gonna slow down because Stadia isn't in it. I think we're gonna start slowing down unless Luna. Now Luna does have a lot of great features.
I kind of felt like that at first.
Yeah. Luna does have a lot of great features, but we don't know what kind of pace they're going to be moving at. And that's my second point I want to get to. Only one I would probably be worried about is Luna. And that's crazy because that's the one that I'm enjoying most right now. But I understand if people are hesitant and jumping into it because with them, I mean, they do have their own studios, and they have 2 great games that are out right now that are doing really good still. But we just need to see more from them to feel confident in that platform. But and that's just me personally. But everyone else, I think they're pretty like they are going to be stable, like GFN and Xbox and PlayStation. But as far as growth, like technology wise, I just think it's going to be slow now, unless someone else like Luna, um, does what Stadia was doing. So yeah,
And
this is what I think.
that is so frustrating, right? To know that the technology is taking a step back. That is, it's really frustrating to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. We're back. You know what it did? It shut off and then it muted everyone. It's like a time.
Oh my gosh.
The OBS is stand by Stadia. OBS was a Stadia stand, I guess. So Lo-Fi, I'm sorry. Go ahead again. Let everybody know what you just elaborated on. I'm sorry about that.
I mean, I basically was just saying, man, I came into this looking at cloud gaming. I didn't go, oh, Stadia, and just jump straight to Stadia. I had AT&T, so I got that 6-month deal with Pro. I got the 6-month deal with GFN, and even though I was playing GFN, I just kept getting drawn back to Stadia because of its ease of use and just access and the community. And I felt a little lonely when I would play GFN, among other things, that I have a really bad internet connection, and Stadia just played nice with that. So the thing about what Stadia did versus the other platforms, it was that Stadia kind of like opened Pandora's box, and once you open that, you can't close it. It's open. All these features. Not only did they present us with features that were really interesting and different, there was these promises of where they wanted to go with it, and also it opened your imagination of what could be done with it. And like, I know one way to look at things is like, now these other guys don't have anybody to compete against like that, but they do. They have each other still. There's a lot of cloud gaming platforms left, and it's like, now that we're out here and we're going to be telling them, hey man, I like playing your games, but what's up? Why is this so janky? Why can't I just connect with my friends the way I want to? Dude, I'm telling you, Stadia opened Pandora's box, and it's only going to get better from here on out. We might see things slow down because of, like I said, that inflation thing, but people still love gaming, and people still have imagination, and they want to create and build. So I don't see these developers slowing down.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick to that. I get your point, Lo-Fi. I will say this. Luna has deals to accommodate Stadia gamers, and I think Luna's just moving slow because they're attaching their growth to how their Fire TV saturation. So I think they're trying to avoid all the stumbles that the other cloud platforms made, like GFN when they first went to retail and they lost a whole bunch of games. Xbox, remember Xbox was doing a grand opening of when they got the Xbox Series X server blades, and then everybody tried it and said it was trash. And then Stadia, you know what I'm saying? I think that's why Amazon's playing it easy. I'll give them credit though. They had deals right after, and I don't think that was a coincidence. They had deals right after the shutdown of Stadia, the great bundles. GFN, I got to give them credit too. They went on their Reddit and said, look, Stadia gamers, they talked to the Stadia gamers directly and said, look, we know that you're on GFN now. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. That's telling me that they're taking heed to these things that they know they need to do. Now, I haven't heard much from xCloud besides Major Nelson saying, oh, phooey, Stadia's gone. But hopefully they'll come up with something. But I know Black Nut is running deals. I know Antstream is running deals. There's one company that I'm talking to right now. They're creating a Stadia deal. So everybody's trying to accommodate. So I'm hopeful that's a positive sign. And they realize that there's some of these things that Stadia was doing that they need to integrate into what they're doing. You know what I mean? And continue to do what they're doing right. But those are just my thoughts. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Suna. What were you going to say about that? About this stability factor?
So yeah, I would say this for anybody who is like who wants the opinion from someone who's kind of testing them all out. Yeah. I would say if you're only gonna play like one game, or if you have money to buy a lot of games and you care about graphics, I would primarily focus on GFN. But if you're somebody who wants to play a lot of different games consistently and it is available to you, I would primarily focus on Luna. And also another thing about Luna too is like if something were to happen with them, you can download your save game data a lot easier than Stadia. And you can put it to like a PC game or a Steam game if that's something that you are if it does support it. So you also have to watch out for that. Like the game has to support it on Steam. But yeah, other than that, I would just say my experience with both of those, and the reason I like Luna more at the moment, just because GFN is awesome, but I feel like I feel lonely playing it, and it's just it's too much money, man. Like I got the 3080 tier, it's a lot. Then like
but what I say to that, there's more. The GFN isn't the only service that does that. It's the only service that's giving you nvidia, but they're not the only service that does that. And I know a lot of people are gonna be shocked to hear me say this, but the Steam store has proven itself. It's been reliable. It's been here a long time. So you can feel comfortable making your purchases there, even if you do have to play them through a third party.
Yeah.
So I mean that I'm just throwing that out there.
Too, though. Here's another thing too. With a Luna, like I mean, you're basically getting access to PC games. And then, like, if something does happen, you have your save game data. So if you didn't want to buy those games, or if you decide to buy a game or whatever, you'll have your save game data. Hopefully, you know, if the game supports that. So the way I kind of look at Luna,
that is kind of nice. These cloud platforms do need to think about it. You take your save data from there. If you want to move that xCloud or whatever, that'd be nice to be able to just bloop.
Yeah, and like the way I kind of look at Luna is like, I mean, it's really just like, it's really a kind of like a Game Pass for like PC. Honestly, like it gives you access to a whole bunch of Steam games or whatever, PC ports, and then like if you don't want to buy them, that's fine. You play through it, you're done with it. So I mean, it's not you're really not taking a big risk with that.
Yep.
And then, I mean, you just get access to a lot of different stuff.
And if you have Prime, try it out. Try it out. It's there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Try it out.
Prime, like you can't go wrong with that. Because everyone has Prime. Like a lot of people have it, so you really have nothing to lose. Like, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So, last two questions, guys. Ninja, I'll start with Ninja Guy X Lo-Fi, and then we'll close out with Suna. Where are you going next, Ninja Guys? Like, now that Stadia's closing down, what are you going to do? What are the platforms that you're going to pursue now?
Yeah, so like I said, I like now that Stadia gone, it's the only mostly only the cloud platform thing that I was gaming. But I that's not a problem. I can game anywhere else. I got a PlayStation 4, I got an Xbox Series X, I've got a Switch. I got an okay PC to play also. Mm-hmm. So that's I think I mentioned it, but my only concern was where was my content creation was going to go, right? Because it's not going to be cloud related mostly now, and I'm still like having some thought about it. It's in the work. I think the transition will happen around in November. But the first thing is I'm going to have some developers interview. So
cool.
Starting in November, I started getting some contact with developers. I got some set up for specific dates. So I'll be doing a weekly indie developer show. It's going to be called iTie.
All right.
And
cool.
And the shticks of the interview is going to be that I'm going to be wearing a tie, and that's the only difference from any other interview. Wearing a tie.
I love it.
It's
awesome.
Yeah, it's silly, and I like that. So that's going to be a cool show that I'm going to do. I'm probably going to, GFN has
I already can picture a Ninja Guy in a t-shirt and a clip-on tie.
Well, that's exactly what you should be expecting.
He stole his show notes.
Yeah, oh man. No, now MM2K is going to do that before me, and I'm going to lose all my viewers. Yeah. Other than that, I'm going to be doing some, GFN reached me out today, so I'm probably going to be doing some stuff for them. Which is nice. I like being affiliated with some people. I like doing specific stuff. So, but that's been done today. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going at with that, but it should be fun. And other than that, it's mostly going to be the indie stuff and talking about limited edition video games, like limited run games and stuff like that. So very different from the usual Stadia specific content, but I decided to switch to the second thing that I like the most, and it's supporting indie developers. So I'm going with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great, and that's still going to keep your content unique. Like a lot of people thought that we were going to shut down because we weren't about. No, I mean this just opened up the possibilities even more. And Lo-Fi knows this, that I was looking to throw the keys up in the air anyway, because there's so much things to game on, and throw the keys up in the air and say, Lo-Fi, all right, you take over. I'm gonna do some more PlayStation 5 stuff.
I got other interests. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
have you seen John lately? He's been streaming like crazy.
My gosh,
to stream again. It's just.
And I know he's got some really good giveaways coming up. So
exactly. This just opens up the Pandora's, especially John. Like John has so many connections. But that just shows you that by him focusing on Stadia, even though he had these other connections, that was the magic of Stadia that pulled people in. That what the platform was able to do, make things so much easier, and the community. So it's just a shame that all that's being is being dissipated. So
yes.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome stuff. I can't wait to see you get into that. Sooner, what are you gonna be doing, brother?
Me personally, I'm gonna be playing on Luna, GFN, and PlayStation Plus. The only one I'm not really gonna mess with is xCloud, because I just can't do it yet. I mean, they over here talking about this streaming box and all this other stuff, man. Look, get that 1080p in order first, man. Get that. I just can't do it, man. It's just not there yet. I can't do it.
Look, and I feel similar, but don't fret. There's more content and more content creators that love xCloud that are coming to the platform, so you ain't got to worry about me. And to be fair, because we changed how stuff floats on the channel. When we give the straight dope to the public, you ain't going to hear that MM2K shaking his fist at the window like the toothless old man. I'm just going to give you the straight dope, what's going on with xCloud, and then I'm going to go off in the corner somewhere and maybe mumble a groan. But there's going to be a lot of xCloud content here too. But, it is what it is. Lo-Fi, what you going to be going to, brother?
Well, I'm just gonna game, bro. I'm gonna game where I can, and I'm gonna share with everybody that I can share it with until I find that thing that just sparks my passion, and then we'll dive into that. But Cloudy Thoughts, SSC podcast, it ain't gonna stop, bro. We're just gonna we're steadily gonna dive into the cloud gaming. We might even talk about a little bit of console stuff here and there, you know. But it's gonna be about the. But now, you know, it's kind of open up. We can just look at, like, I plan on, at least with Cloudy Thoughts, I plan on looking at what games are coming out this week, and we're just gonna talk about where you can play them.
Absolutely,
that's what's up.
That's what's up. You know, I mean, gaming is still at the core. We're gamers, but you know, Stadia was so magical, brought a lot of stuff our way, and for me, like, Cold Blood Sensei is in here, but the thing, even though I have powerful PCs and other consoles and access to stuff like that, the reason why I latched on to Stadia so fast is for streaming. I love the stream. You know, I was in the middle of my streaming phase and I couldn't get good frames per second on my PC and all that other stuff. And Stadia alleviated that because it was so light on the resources and so easy to just hop into. I didn't have to sit there for an hour, download patches, all this other stuff before I stream. Hey, I'm about to stream, make the thumbnail, boop, boop, boop. I'm online. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that ease of use. But where I'm going to primarily right now, and that could all change. We're talking to different groups, and this month it could be GFN is my main squeeze, and the next month it could be Boosteroid. You never know. But right now I'm rolling with GFN 3080 tier. It's a lot getting used to trying to get into the games and stuff like that. It's a little bit more cumbersome than what I'm used to. But once you're in the game and you're playing, and you get everything tweaked, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's really improved since the last time I tried it, especially with those new AI enhancements. So GFN, if you listening, hit a brother up. Stop avoiding me. I know I've said some stuff in the past, but that's all water under the bridge. Hit a brother up. Yeah, I mean, with some promotions. You know what I'm saying? Stop avoiding me.
I'd like to ask you guys something before you end it, man. And I don't know, you might want to just shut me up, but and that's okay too. If we want to just take this backstage.
You already spilled the tea. You're already gonna have certain companies sending their assassins after us and beheading. No, I'm just joking.
Well, this is kind of a rumor floating in the air. Have you heard about the Ubisoft double dip?
I got to step away for a second, but go ahead. You can ask the panel.
Yeah. Have y'all heard about this Ubisoft double dip thing?
No, that doesn't ring a bell at all.
All right. So we're getting our refund. We're getting that Stadia stimulus, right?
Oh yeah.
So Ubisoft already got their money. They're not the ones refunding you. Google is. That's money out of Google's pocket. Ubisoft's already got their money for your game purchases. I've heard that Ubisoft's trying to work out a way to still give you your Ubisoft games that you purchased.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
So you're gonna get your refund plus you still get your game.
Oh, man.
I don't know how much true that is. That's just something I heard. I'm wondering what y'all got.
Nigga, run that by me again. I missed that. My terrorist wife called me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So people are calling it the Ubisoft double dip, right? Like Ubisoft's already made their money. Google's the one that's refunding you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a rumor going around that even though you get your refund from Stadia, Ubisoft's still trying to work it out where you still get to keep your games on somewhere else. If it's on
that's
Ubisoft's
dope.
website.
That's dope.
I love
that. That's just something I heard.
That's dope.
If that does happen, like, they really don't even have to do that. Nobody's even saying anything about that. Like, but they're going that extra mile to do that. So shout out to them. Like,
shout out to them.
That really says a lot.
Them.
Yeah, well, just finger crossed that's real.
But you know what? I think that's dope, and I like that. I wish a lot more people would do that, because here's the thing: it's like you said, and I know people were like, "Oh no, support the devs and stop being greedy." But hold on, here's the thing: I'm getting reimbursed because of my inconvenience, because now I'm losing saves like Outriders. I was, as beautiful as it is on GFN, I'm only on level 10. I was at level kabillion on Stadia. So Google is paying me for my convenience. I would like to see a lot more developers, call it greedy or not, do the same thing. If you got a Steam version, you still got my money. Google is paying me for the inconvenience. Money. So I would like to see Baldur's Gate give, Steam codes, you know what I'm saying? All that other stuff, because I don't mind supporting the devs. but I got shafted by Google. That's why Google is giving me the money back. I would like to be able to still access your game, with the code. So I love that Ubisoft is doing that. I think that's dope, and I think a lot more developers should do it because they still got a lot of money.
Otherwise, Ubisoft's getting the double dip.
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. That is true. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, all right. Any final thoughts by anybody that you want to give the community?
I love this community.
Close out. I love you. Any other thoughts? Any shout outs? Any other words of solid or gratitude or anything like that before we close out?
We're still gaming, bro.
Yeah, still gaming.
Yeah.
That's it. We're still
love
gaming.
you all, and I'm happy that everybody's keeping touch, and really happy about that.
Yep. I'm proud of this community. I love this community. You weren't stupid and dumb for following this. Just something magical that happened here. It brought a lot of different people from a lot of different spaces together that normally wouldn't congregate together. That's how special this thing was. I just wish that Google would have believed in it more than to take, again, like I said, that $1,000 to sell off something so special that over time would have just would have knocked the socks off. But I appreciate everybody.
It feels like Leonardo da Vinci came back and we were looking at the Mona Lisa and he was like, "Oh, that old thing," and he just grabs it and crumbles it up.
Good point.
Oh God, it sucks. But we're gonna do our best because we know first and foremost, Stadia was a cloud gaming platform. And so then we had to have something to support our cloud gamers, those that the disenfranchised in the least proper position after this. And we're going to have console stuff in the greater PNTS network scheme of things. So stay tuned. Should be looking out at PNTS network for more of that. So that's it. So now we're going to close out. With that said, that's today's show. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We're going to do closeouts and let people know where they can be found. I'll start with Ninja Guy X. Ninja Guy X, can you let everybody know where you can be found, my good friend?
Yeah, very easy. Ninja Guy space X on YouTube and Ninja Guy X on Twitter. I don't really have anything to announce at the moment. Keep a close eye, and I'll start transitioning next month. But in the meanwhile, have a look at my stream. I'm still streaming almost every day. So hope to see you there.
Awesome stuff. Suna, where can people find you? I heard you were trying to shut down the channel, man. Don't you do that. But what's going on, Suna? Where can people find you at?
All right. So on Twitter, you guys can find me at bibbidi_bop_. And then here on YouTube, you can find me just Suna. And you'll find my channel. What I do on there is just play walkthroughs on different cloud platforms. So, yep. Exactly where y'all can find me.
Awesome. And last but not least, my good brother with my funky fresh. I'm bringing out the 80s lingo. My funky fresh, my stupid fly avatar, my brother Lo-Fi Monk. What's going on, brother? Where can they find you at?
You can find me on YouTube at Lo-Fi Monk. You can find me on Twitter at Lo-Fi_Monk. You can find me on Cloudy Thoughts and the SSC podcast. And you can find me game streaming on YouTube and maybe a little bit on Twitch. And other than that, you just find me in the cloud.
Awesome stuff. You guys know me, MM2K. You can find me here on Cloud Dosage streams, Cloud Dosage Plus, MM2K videos. And we're bringing back the Hard Knock Digital Culture, where I will be hosting again a Bleach anime spoiler cast with a special co-host. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget to check us out over at clouddosage.com. They still cranking it out over there. The best website on the planet. All right.
Yeah.
With all that said, I appreciate and love all of you.
Did you just say StadiaDosage.com?
I think I said Cloud Dosage. Did I say Stadia?
I hope you did.
I think I said he would know if you, my good brother Jack, he was with the ingenuity. If you put in Stadia Dosage, it'll take you to Cloud Dosage right now. So
very nice.
Brother, he got it covered. Nice. He got it covered. But no, it's clouddosage.com. And we got too much material to write. The guys are scrambling like, which one are we going to write on next? It's totally different from when we were covering Stadia.
Oh, man.
Totally different.
So different.
Yep. But until next time, thank you for joining the SSC podcast. We'll be back with another one. Until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Peace.